Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Deborah's here. How you doing, Deborah?
Yay, I'm great. Thank you.
Deborah from Fairvilla Megastore.
Yeah, it distracted me because we were talking about the lights, and you installed some new lights in the studio so we could see better.
Yeah.
But traditionally, I kind of want to go 90s radio dark. Well, you know what I'm saying?
That's how I keep my studio.
Yeah, I know.
That is the 90s way. Like old radio dudes, not at all. No, Samantha she grew up in that, so...
But she does her show at night.
Also,
Most of the time.
if I had my druthers, it would be cold in here, and there'd be no lights on, and you would only see me lit by my iMac, and I'd have a cigarette, too, if I just was doing it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'd have a cigarette, and the only way you'd be able to see me is you just see wafts of smoke come up, like Midnight Caller.
That is
or
old
something.
school.
Yeah.
Those nighttime talk shows that I used
Drew and
to,
I did that, and you guys came in there,
Oh, yes.
and Drew and I'd
Sure
be in there.
did.
There's a reason it was dark,
Yeah,
because there were naked women in there.
But it was
Lots of
dark,
naked, tons of naked
It wasn't
women.
me.
No.
I brought the naked
Not
women.
Deborah,
Yeah,
just
but
so
she
you know,
would bring-
I would bring them.
You know, the relationships that Fairvilla had and still has, but you know, it's not really, I don't think it's in style as much
not
as it
a
was.
thing, no.
But back in the 90s, you know, the porn stars would roll through town and they'd
Yeah.
roll into Fairvilla because that was the only place you could get it. So you'd get all of the heavy hitters. You'd get the Janine, you'd get the Jill Kelly, you'd get the Christy Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
All the classics, the ones that I say, and yes, I'm an old man and I'm proud that those
And
ladies
they
are still
loved
the
us.
ladies.
You know what was crazy back then? I was dubbed the den mother of porn stars. By them. And,
That is awesome.
Yeah,
it was
it's pretty,
great.
it's pretty
but,
cool.
But what was nice is that we treated them really well, and they were treated horribly when they'd go on the road to dance and stuff. People would put them up in the worst hotels in the worst parts of town, and we treated them like humans. You know, we put them in good hotels. We take them out to dinner. We enjoyed their company, got to know them as people, and that's why they always wanted to come and see us.
And so the
it's
interviews
weird.
you got were different too. Like for instance, you guys got me and one of my favorite adult actresses, Jill Kelly.
Yeah.
And Fairvilla got her to sign one of her movies. I think I still have it somewhere, but you know, with a kid and all, you tuck that stuff away. But yeah, like she came in and she put on the whole thing and gave it to me and everything. But then afterwards, it was just like. She was just like a normal,
She's
and we
just
just hung
great.
out and talked,
Yeah.
and she was very, very nice. It was because you guys were always kind to them, you know?
It's weird, though, because they're still celebrities, and you would think that other people would still treat them like celebrities because they were.
The first thing they would be asked,
Because-
and trust me, they tell me this. The first thing, because Drew and I always interviewed the adult stars. The things that they would say were, "Oh, thank you guys so much for not, as soon as I walked in, asking me to get naked."
Yep.
Because people, that's how.
They walk in the
just
door.
assume.
Radio.
Yeah, they walk
Yeah.
in the door, and then, you know, you got the sleeves cut off the song. Like, all right, she's here. All right, here's the sausage. Get naked. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
And they, you know, believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe, they didn't like that.
But
I know that's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe that humans would not like to be, even though they're in an area where they understand what's going on, they understand the objectification or whatever, however you want to categorize it. They didn't like that.
But I understand that with the 90s radio because they're doing that for entertainment. But like even behind the scenes with like getting them nice hotels and stuff, they're still celebrities in the fact that you recognize them as like, oh, I know that a lot of people watch this person. You know what I'm saying?
It was just a different time and a different breed of cat that were owning the clubs and the places they would go and the stores.
Sleazy.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Well,
we
you guys
kinda-
have always been elevated over that, I
we
think.
kind of took a different approach with everything we did, and
Which
with
is
the
why
retail.
you're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The
Yeah.
professionality of it,
Yeah.
you know, the business, you know, like it's funny too because we joke around about like the 90s radio show hosts.
We do.
But there are other 90s radio show hosts that are not like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's a stereotype.
You're right.
But the majority were, so it's like the strip club owners,
Mm-hmm.
the you know, those kind of in that industry. It does attract, like same thing with 90s radio show hosts, it attracts the egomaniac narcissist, but also there's other businesses that are not that, and the owners are not that.
Yeah,
and,
true.
and they're not sleazy, and they're like, this is the business. I've met people in the porn industry, even like Shane's World back in the day, the original owners of that.
Yeah.
I guess not the original, but the people who bought it from her, like a super nice husband and wife, treated everybody with respect, and they were all about like this is just the entertainment business, and all of our actors and actresses are treated with respect, and this is just the business of it, And then, but there are other people in that industry that were, the
stereotype.
What was the guy that he was a like barely legal guy with glasses? Like
we don't talk about him. Ed Powers.
Ed Powers. Yeah. That guy.
Not that I know that guy, but we played a couple of his videos that were called into question on the show and made fun of them about how disgusting of a human he could be.
Yeah.
We're and then how is this a real human being?
There are a few out there.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's weird. And now, how does it work nowadays, Deborah? With because it seems like it's all OnlyFans and social media influencers that are basically kind of making their own content.
That's right. Yeah. You don't see people coming around to the stores anymore. Video has taken such a back seat in retail. It's now online. So yeah, OnlyFans, those types of outlets are really, I'm sure that people are still going to clubs and dancing and so forth, but there's still an industry out there. It's just not really into the retail format that it was before. So we don't host those types of appearances. We've really turned more into generalized events that are in store. We're just now getting back to hosting things in store from the last 2 years. So yeah, it's been an evolution, I guess.
Yeah. And it seems like a lot of people that produce their own content don't even want to be out there, meet and greet. So, they just do it privately, or maybe even with their partner, and then they produce it, they sell it, and then... But other than that, they are not a part of the industry as what it used to be.
Exactly.
There's more variety there, I think, and more independence.
So, Deborah, let's start with some stuff. I see you got a lot.
I know.
Today.
Well, I'm going to start with it's into summer, and I know in the news there's been lots of talk about gluts of inventory at the big box retailers. Well, we don't have a glut of inventory, but we have some amazing lingerie on sale at all the locations. But the Megastore in Orlando on 441 has what we call the rack room. For those of you who don't know, it's our special sale area where all wonderful things go to live out their final days on a clearance. And I brought a couple pieces of lingerie because I wanted you to see the quality of things. These are actual really wonderful lines of garments. It's just we have a lifespan, and they get marked down after so many weeks, and then they get moved to the rack room. So if you're looking to kind of spice things up and you're on a limited budget right now, it's a great place to go. I have brought it's kind of a really nice
I like the
silk.
long. I'm
long,
a sucker for the long gown.
And I actually just kind of threw this up there, but it's by Coquette, which is an amazing brand. And I think this is check the tag, but I think it's $14.75. What?
Oh my God! It's
a deal, right?
It's like on a Marshalls.
$14?
It's like TJ Maxx.
But you're looking at garments that could have started out at $60 or whatever they might be.
I like my wife to wear this and then hold a handgun.
Nothing's $14
that's a wrap.
anymore. That's crazy.
That's a one size, but it's a wrap dress, so it's very accommodating, and we have quite a few of those. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I'm grabbing this. It might not even go back. I don't know.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's
$14.
Right?
You'd never be able to find anything on Alibaba. Seriously, I think
I only get my lingerie from Alibaba.
But I think people's mindset now with shopping online is I can get it cheaper online, but that's not the case anymore.
Well, I was going to ask.
No.
Can you only get the sale items in store, or do you have?
Yes.
Okay, so in store.
These
only.
are in store only, and we do have fitting rooms, so you can go try it on and make sure.
Sure.
And like you said, touch, feel the quality of it.
See the quality of it.
This is a piece by Dreamgirl. It is currently $25, and it started out its life at $50, and it's got a panty that goes with it. Fishnet is very much in. It's a combination of fishnet and lace. It's gorgeous.
You want to take that home, Tom?
Well, I thought lingerie
this is your style.
was
this is what Tom likes.
$250. That's what I thought. Lingerie was $250. $25.
Originally you were gonna spend over $50 for this, right?
But you want to add some hosiery because likely because it does have the attachments there for hose. Don't have to, but it's a beautiful garment in teal, all that beautiful lace. Dreamgirl's a great company. It's fancy.
Yeah,
it's got two straps, so it's nice and very form-fitting.
You have to wash this in a pillowcase. Is that how it works?
That would be a good idea.
Or a garment bag.
I don't know what that is.
Do you wrap it up in a pillowcase?
I don't know.
I've heard of.
That's what I do with my shoes so they don't make noise in the dryer. I put my shoes inside a pillowcase.
Garment bag would be preferred, but whatever. whatever you got.
I wash some of the microfibers I use for the delicate glass in my car. I wash in a garment bag.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Matt
There you
Mormon
go.
told me that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like you take your wife's laundry out the road.
Yeah, I throw it on the ground.
Yeah,
I use her lingerie to
put my Tesla
Yeah,
chamois in
I
there.
put my chamois in there.
And the rack room, by the way, it's still going to have lingerie in it. It always does. It has some toys in there too.
Shoes?
But
I've seen shoes in there, right?
shoes.
Yeah.
But really soon, we're going to start bringing out our Halloween and our festival
Yes.
discount too. So all the clearance, there'll be some really, really great pieces and accessories for costuming in the next couple weeks. So check back
Nice.
because that's all going to flip right at Labor Day-ish.
Okay.
Right after the stores start their flip.
Awesome.
And while we're talking about festival, and I know that last time I was here, I almost always bring up Daisy Corset, and we're starting to get new pieces in, and like you never see like a yellow highlight item, and this is just a centerpiece by Daisy Corset, and it's in our festival section right now. There's still a full complement of festival wear if you're going to a concert, club. This could be a really nice accessory just for going
Saw
out.
a girl
right?
wearing something similar. This is like super popular.
Yeah.
Saw a girl at the Improv wearing a corset. And I was like, oh, that's nice.
You know
Yeah.
who wears a corset? Simon Cowell from America's Got Talent. Because
Well, he's got big old teeth.
but he has
What?
a corset.
Yeah, he has big man
I did not
tees.
know this.
Well, now I don't know if it's a well-known
it's a
thing.
Spanx.
I
yeah,
had no idea. Oh, he wears man spanks?
Yeah, he wears man spanks because he's got floppers.
But
He's
no-
got floppy tees.
But it looks like I saw he got up on stage.
Well, of course it usually pushes him up.
Well,
No,
no,
this tries
That's
to
why it's got to
flatten.
be a spank.
This,
It's gotta be
yeah.
I
this
said
is,
cor-
it looks like a bulletproof vest for fat guys.
I said corset, but
So you don't know what you're talking
It's
about?
like a big.
it looks
almost like a binder.
Yeah.
It looked like under his black T-shirt, he was
It's like-
wearing
it's
a
like-
Home Depot back brace.
Yeah,
You know, like-
exactly. It's like, why are you wearing a black rash guard? Are you going surfing after you judge this bad talent?
But I saw it when he got up on stage. You can't see it when he's sitting behind
He's
the
probably
judge.
so sad. He's like, you should have edited that out.
But he got up and they were throwing these axes across his face. like
Axe his
he-
spanks off. He's fat under there. Axe his spanks.
And when he was walking on stage, I was like, "What is he like?" Me and my wife noticed it. Like he's wearing some sort of like Spanx to hold his belly in,
and
like
his tees.
And it did when you looked at him, like it made his like into an hourglass figure, but it was unnatural.
I
Like,
saw
you know,
this on Univision. They did a
it's like-
commercial for it. They had it.
really?
Yeah, it's like a thing you can buy. And it's like it was a Spanish commercial. I don't know what they
I'm
said.
gonna have to look into this.
But you put it
I'm so
on.
intrigued.
You put it on, and I think it's hard to put on. You squeeze
Oh, I'm
it
sure
on,
it
and
is.
you
Most
pull
of
it-
those are.
Yeah, you pull it down, and
Yeah.
it takes like, cause see,
Yeah.
I'm a little
It's
flappier
a
from losing
rat-
weight.
yeah, it tucks everything.
It tucks your flabs in, and then it
it's a
flattens
man's
out.
spank
a
shirt.
man's ear.
I mean, yeah.
Right?
It just
Oh
it's.
my God,
A
from
bro.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But anytime I see men wear that, I'm like, oh, why are you so vain? Although he's on TV, so then it makes sense. It's like, well, everybody's doing this. Like, we're putting on makeup.
Here's
This
what
is
I
a
wanna
show.
say.
Women are wearing spanks everywhere.
I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see the
yeah.
guy
It's
who
just
wears
like-
that and that only.
Oh,
Yeah, he's like, I just wear it. I like the way it feels.
And then you can't ever take your shirt off in
At the
prom.
well, no, you have to go to the bathroom and then take your shirt off, and then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, yuck!"
But then you're
happened?
taking you're pulling your rash guard off, and
It's too hard.
You
Then it
put
gets
that in
stuck
the
on
bottom of your
then it
beach
gets stuck
bag.
on your neck. You get that move where you're like, "Can
It's
somebody
tight.
help me here? I'm stuck in my
Sorry,
I'm
Deborah.
stuck in
No,
my
that's
man's
a-
ear."
I'm thoroughly entertained. I had no idea. Now I'm in the know. But since I was
Whoa.
in that section, they're covered.
Okay,
they're
holy
covered.
moly, that would.
There's little petals on
yeah,
the
those are not
boobs.
little petals.
Okay, big petals.
Oh,
Another trend right now, and this will continue in through festival. Glow accessories, UV reactive, glow in the dark, those kinds of things. And these are harness pieces.
Yes.
Harnesses now, absolutely. I mean, you can wear these right now underneath something, over a garment, over a tight shirt or a fishnet, going to a club. But harnesses are absolutely in, and these just happen to be from a new line. They just arrived from Fantasy Lingerie, from their Glow line. And so, yeah, really cool. Leg harnesses, top harnesses. These are two different colors, but they both glow in the dark. And we have a full complement. And I think all the stores are getting this in.
Well, this actually includes pasties and a panty.
now
Conte.
when you wear those harnesses, are you supposed to attach things to them? Is it
No,
like
not
utility?
necessarily.
Okay.
No. Well, I guess if you'd
You
like.
can, but it's
sure.
mostly fashion.
Yeah, it's just
Man.
fashion.
On the back of this one, they show that both a slight tiny girl can wear this, and also a voluptuous girl can wear this, and that one should be this. The voluptuous girl should be on the cover. Is what I'm. Look at her.
Yeah, right.
Put her on the front.
Right.
My Lord.
Yeah.
Careful with that. That'll blow your wig off.
Fantasy makes some really great
That's sexy.
product. They have some really good full-size product. They have plus models that are just outstanding.
Yeah, they need to put these
They're
plus
so
models on the
great.
front. Better dumper on the big girl on this one.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Can I say that? Look
She's
at that.
so
Look at that. Yeah. Oh, my
Okay,
God.
wow.
That's it.
Fantastic.
I know what he likes.
All right. So, everybody has been talking about how to build a sex room, the show.
Tom has been,
yes.
it's the number one thing he keeps talking about. Isn't that the next phase? That's phase 3 of your destination Tom Van build out.
Is the room?
Phase 3 is the sex room. Or as you call it, the van room of pleasure.
They, God, was it my wife telling me about some show? And in the show, they had maybe her hairdresser was showing her some show.
Your
and
wife goes, you're like an old lady.
Yeah.
My hairdresser has a sex room.
She goes
Will
to
you
this
never
guy.
take me anyway? It's the cliche.
Yes.
She goes to this guy.
My hairdresser has a sex room.
And then
You only take me to Outback.
And apparently it takes like 3.5 hours, like some absurd
to
amount of
set
time.
it up?
No, not the sector. Shoot, like
Spit it out, man.
He was showing her some
Horny.
show with the sex room in it while he does her hair for 3.5 hours.
Hold on a
Gotcha,
second.
gotcha.
So your
I think
wife,
that's what she
I'm
was
so
talking
confused
about, how to
here.
build a sex room.
so your
Yeah,
wife went to
probably.
a person's house and watched
No.
porno with him while he did her hair.
No. I mean, he's gay, real gay.
Okay.
And so I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
But he was just showing her the gay, like the show with the sex room in it, and then we were talking sex rooms, and then I'm like, well, what was in there? And then she was like, well, there's this chair. And it really was only the chair.
Dentist chair.
So I'm like, well, it's just a room with a chair in it.
Was
And
it a barber chair or dentist chair?
Apparently, it was the chair that is all. It's a
It's like
wave.
a chase.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
carry the.
You carry the chair?
Yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
didn't mean to
yes,
yell at
I've seen it
I
in
didn't mean to-
Fairvilla.
You didn't deserve to be yelled at. I
It's a
apologize for
wavy
that.
chair
Yep.
that
I'm watching this show.
And
Yeah.
it's like Liberator. I brought in the wedges.
Oh, wait a
that
minute.
company makes one, and also I think we're going to bring in another one that's probably a little closer to that specific.
You
design,
already
but
do
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
Huh?
You already do a smaller version of the chair. You have the Liberator.
The wedge.
Well, they have a
Oh,
wedge, but
the
this
wedge.
is like a wave, like a chase lounge.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, this is the whole thing.
You know,
the
if you
wedge.
put your Maloof mattress in zero gravity,
What?
There you
Oh,
go.
let's go. I
Yeah,
didn't even think
party.
of that,
Oh,
Sam.
yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's the-
Sam just beat me for the title of horniest on the show. I never thought of that. I had my mattress that's movable way before she did.
man, you're
And
slacking.
her and her husband are already pumping it that way, and I'm way behind the times.
How did you never think about that?
I don't.
Like-
I'm dumb.
First thing we thought about.
That's the first.
They tried it out at the Air T&D.
Sorry. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was like, we were yelling that. I'm like, this is gonna.
You know how many times I had to edit that out?
I think it was 5.
No. I was like, this is not gonna help us. Is it?
No,
I
it's
don't
not. We're
know.
leading in.
So yeah, but it doesn't help. It makes it
doesn't.
funny, but it's that bit is counterintuitive to the bottom line. I'm sorry. What do we got next here?
Oh wow! Now I was lost in y'all's conversation.
Yeah.
So, because of that show, like people instantly started coming into the store and asking about things.
Oh man, you're gonna start selling those things like
It's-
crazy.
so
What
we
show
actually
is it?
built.
It's called How to Build a Sex Room.
Room.
on Netflix.
oh.
She literally said that at the beginning, and then you're like, my wife was watching it for 3 hours.
I was thinking about other things.
All right.
I was thinking about the sex
I
room
was too.
because I think when you said that, instantly I was like, the sex room. I was like, we were talking about that the other day.
I too got stuck on sex room. I didn't know the name of the show
It was like
How to
stop.
Build a Sex
How
Room.
to build a sex room. So this
this a DIY
lovely lady,
show?
this lovely British kind of exactly this lovely British lady comes into these people, meets them, asks them questions, brings out her little bag of tricks, and sees what they're into, what they're not into,
Interesting.
and then bam, it might be she's built a cottage outside a person's house. She's done
sex
basements.
cottage.
Yeah, right. I'm telling every episode is different, and I will applaud the show for really showing a lot of diversity.
It's a
and
non-judgy, fun show.
non-judgy, and they
Awesome.
really tackle some interesting concepts that probably I can't talk about so much
Yeah.
here.
People
but,
like
but
some
doing
interesting
it,
stuff,
But
yeah.
doing it in a way that was non-judgmental, that really treated it fun. And so to that end, I enjoyed the show. There are a couple of things that I would, like if I want to be picky, there's a lot of talk about shibari. There's a lot. I think she does take one couple into an expert to show you how to rope tie, basically, right?
Yes.
Decorative rope tying and for like light bondage and
Purple
things.
tees.
I brought a set because we have carried rope for years and years. But one thing that they really didn't do was offer books on how-tos.
We're so stupid.
No. I'm sorry. We were laughing. We were talking about that this morning.
Why?
Uh-oh.
Why are you
Whoa,
talking
wait a
about that?
minute.
Well, we
Yeah.
start every day with coffee and light bondage talk.
Yeah. No.
How
sorry.
business gets done around here, Sam.
Me and Daniel are children.
Well, I'm really the child. You're like
Please
I think you're like a
explain.
teenager.
but it's weird though. We're middle-aged men. You know what I'm saying? Like we are now middle. It blew my
I'm
socks off
I'm
the other day.
middle-aged.
I woke up. I am too.
Nah,
40 is middle
You're
age.
still young.
I ain't
You're
living
so
much
young.
past 80. I had a lot of head injuries and alcohol, and I'm middle.
I'm at the point in my life where you let the dog eat anything he wants
Anyway,
Yeah, like you're done.
for any meal.
I
Yeah,
thought I'd
just
be
let it go.
more mature by now. When I was a teenager, I looked at middle-aged men. I'm like, they don't think about this stuff. They don't laugh at goofy.
silent. They do business and sit in chairs.
Yeah. They don't have any fun. They just do business, and they
Head
don't.
down.
Their
kid does something good, they're like, not good enough. Right?
And then it turns out I'm just basically the same as I was.
Yeah,
Just a
can't
big
change.
baby.
People can't change.
A little slower. In fact, I think I laugh about it more now.
I do too. Because there's no energy to stop me from laughing about it. I'm so tired that I'm like,
Yeah. And
right? Like I'm so
You
tired.
just give
There's
in.
less of a filter. I just laugh at things.
So can I check out this Shibari
Go
book?
right ahead. So anyway, I brought a book because I would say that the show it really has opened up conversations about incorporating all types of play.
This is uncensored. I gotta be careful.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one. But we do carry a lot of books on how-tos, basic rope tying, just so that people are conscientious of playing safely. And so
think
that's
I
what
miss-
our role is. People come to us now that their imaginations have been triggered, and what Fairvilla can do, because we have so many resources, books, obviously really great staff, they can walk you through these types of scenarios and the things you might be interested in. Rope tying, for example.
I have misunderstood, I think, what rope tying or shibari. I misunderstood what this. Keep that low if you're going to look at it.
No.
I've misunderstood what it is. I think that I always thought that you were supposed to like tie the person up, and then in some way, or like then you're like having sex with some sort of tied up person. And I don't think it's
You
about that.
can do that.
Yeah, you
can.
can. You can do whatever you want, but I think it's more about the presentation of a form that you enjoy that is like pleasing to your eyes. It's like art.
Yeah.
So you tie the rope and you kind of form them in a way where then you enjoy the way that their body is kind of conformed. It's
Yeah.
It
more,
is an art.
Yeah, I think it's more because in there, when you see the way that these ladies are, and it's all lady. I guess you can do the same thing with guys. Sure, why not? But like in there, it's ladies, and the way that they're presented. I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. You know, like you don't want to like immediately like, oh yeah, let's have sex. It's more about like, oh, this is gonna get me to a point where I'm fired up enough where we can do that through just me looking and enjoying
Yeah.
and tying. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
I brought another book too that's a little bit lighter, and it's just kind of an interesting,
Oh,
very
this is-
how-to on knot tying. It's really nice.
This is what I mean by maybe this is a good explanation for when we talk about how you guys have everything there from like entry level to like, hey, let's get crazy. So that Shibari book is very like, it's going to show you exactly what you need with all the parts out unedited. This one, on the other hand, though, is just silhouettes of people
Yes.
and how to do it. So if this was left out, if this is on your coffee table, whatever, you're not going to get in any trouble on this one.
So on the front of this book, and I understand what Daniel's saying. There's a lady that she's elegantly
Yeah, it's like a
tied up,
presentation of her form.
but
It's
she's
like,
also
ooh,
like hanging.
There is suspension, and that's a whole
Suspension.
nother thing. And that's why
this is wild.
when they show that kind of stuff on TV, I just like to emphasize it's not, you can aspire to that. You can certainly learn how to do that, but it's one of those things you really need to know what you're doing
Yeah,
so
it's
that
like
you don't hurt
Jackass.
somebody.
Well, I was about to say, like,
don't do this because next thing you know, if you don't have that on a beam, you're gonna kill yourself.
well, I can imagine, like, I'm tying up my wife like this, with one foot tucked behind, you know what I'm saying, and she's like all tied up, and then I got a suspender, right? So I gotta,
You
I gotta
don't have to.
Well, I'm just saying, I gotta up.
Well, you got me over there dressed like Quasimodo. I'm working the line.
I got it up through some sort of like
You got it through the church
Pulley
rafter.
system.
it's like a pulley system in a roof.
It's like a Rube Goldberg.
And then I'm like,
My God.
I'm just like, the lift are human.
Why did you have to make the noise of 5 Vikings? Or like the man's not
Also not that big. How dare
Right?
you?
No, I'm
I
not
got
saying
you.
that big. No, but just a human being.
a
that,
slight woman.
No, she's not a tiny geisha.
No, she is not a tiny
well, I'm just
geisha.
saying she is a regular woman. That
She's not a
Tell her to
big
jump
geisha.
when you pull.
no.
Tom's like, this is my wife, Big Geisha.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying to lift any human with a pulley system.
Steady!
It's
Steady!
it's not like a feather.
On 3, men, hoist the girl!
Unless she is like a circus performer, she's gonna be over 100 pounds. That's all I'm saying. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not gonna be 82 pounds.
You got the guns? Come on.
No, but I'm saying,
No,
you-
so you would already have the rope suspended from like, you'd already have it in like a what are those, a joist?
Well, how would you
Or
get her
you'd
up
have
there?
it- Oh, how would you get
Like,
her up
how
there?
would you suspend? You would have to a roof.
A crank system.
No,
A
roof. A crank?
You don't a roof.
A roof.
No, well, then I gotta install.
Deborah-
Talk to Matt Mormon of Obsessed Garage. I'm sure he has some kind of thing.
You get a
that'll-
boom pole.
Well,
Yeah.
You get a boom pole, you swing her out over the pool.
What that's what I'm saying. It's like,
That'd be pretty
now,
fun.
That'd be pretty awesome.
am I installing machinery into my
Yeah,
walls
if you
here?
want.
Like
Not machinery.
a crank?
Well, a pulley is a simple system. I went to science class.
Well, yeah, but the
Yeah.
pulley,
It's a simple system.
you have to, you know, it's like lifting grain on a pirate ship. Like, there has to be, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you.
They didn't do a lot of grain, more opium.
Anyway,
Silk,
um,
a lot of silk trading.
back to the sex room for a second. So,
Sure.
when you're showing someone your house,
Deborah's so good at this now. She knows exactly what to bring to just send us in 1,000 directions.
because I've been thinking about this ever since we mentioned how to build a
What,
sex
you're
room.
building a sex room?
No, well,
You're going to have to watch a show.
it's
I'm watching it.
too.
once you build it, is
They will
it
come.
Hey, see you win.
Ah, she does well.
there's two things. First, do you show it to people when you do your stereotypical house tour?
No.
When you're walking
No.
through, like, or
That's yours.
Or do you just walk by the door and then you show them all the other, like, this is the guest room, this is our guest bathroom, you know, and then there's one room you
This
just.
is the sex room.
Well, what's really interesting, because they did a variety of options here. They had one couple, it was like a trap door that went down in their basement. Like, you would never know
trap
where that
door?
was. It was crazy. I don't even know how they got the equipment down there.
A trap
But-
door like that murderer.
it was crazy. But they also had like a secret bookshelf that opened up into the room. Like, you would know.
I've always
that-
wanted one
yeah,
of those.
right? But they also just updated people's bedrooms and made it more fun and more interesting. Now, I'm not sure about, the bolting in a stripper pole that you can't remove, but, they still had all
Right,
that kind of
right.
stuff, So I think that the idea is sparking imagination. What could you do just to kind of liven up or make your room more conducive? Maybe it's just making it spa-like. And they did a lot of that too. They put a hot tub on somebody's back porch, but then secluded it
Oh,
so that they
nice.
could enjoy fun times in their hot
So
tub.
you can do stuff.
So, yeah.
I thought of something, and you just reminded me. I think I have an invention that you could sell at Fairvilla somehow, and it would actually work because one of the scariest parts about stripper poles with people is, you put those ones that are like removable in your house, and you fall over, right? And you end up hurting yourself. And we've all been to parties where you see the frat boy like spinning around, and the next thing he's like he's launching into the old Aquos TV and knocks it through the window.
Yep.
I always thought it would be just common sense to figure out a way to, and it could be a special mattress or something, but why doesn't the stripper pole go into the bed mattress? And then you surround it like almost like skydivers do, where they put the bean bags around those indoor skydiving.
Yeah,
they
so
always
when you
have
fall
padding.
off-
So there should be a way where whatever you're doing, you should be on padding, and you should practice on padding.
Or just a simple inflatable
Something, yes, just
circle.
a loop that goes around.
You pump it up with
a mattress, a loop, or something that just goes around there and keeps you from hurting yourself. Because you always see these videos. What's the number one video on YouTube? Fail Army. It's some lady stripping, and she kicks her kid in the face, and then they both fall over.
Yeah, because they think that it's like the shower curtain thing where you just tighten by hand and it just tightens against the wall.
Yeah.
Like that's not strong enough to hold a human being that's hanging off, like using, and not only hanging off,
You're
spinning
off.
around.
Centrifugal force.
You're unscrewing what you just screwed in.
Yeah.
You're putting 180 pounds of pressure on this thing that you know it's not screwed into the wall, so of course it flies off.
Yeah, I don't know. I've thought of that before. What else we got?
Also kind of triggered my thought process from that show is because I had to watch it and take notes for hours. They introduced a lot of really beautiful fetish, like handcuffs and things like that in different color. It wasn't just black. It were soft colors, teals and pinks and things like that.
Those are
and
pretty.
I've forgotten to remind people that it doesn't have to look scary. You know, we have some beautiful leather, non-leather items. I brought a really cool piece just to show, the type of thing. That this is a color, but it is leather, but it is black and teal. It's really, really cool.
Nice. Go Jaguars.
Yeah, there you go.
Like this one, right?
I also
wow,
have.
that's so soft.
I also have something that's a little more decorative. Could be really fun for festival. You can hear all the hardware on it, but it is glitter. It is pink glitter. This is not leather. It is made by one of our leather companies. They're fantastic, but this beautiful sparkle chain link collar.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow. This
Yeah,
is
I think we have it
fancy.
in red and a blue sparkle too. We're kind of testing the water white. I think they're going to do super well for costuming, but also I think people who are looking to kind of liven up their bedroom
These
might be
collars
interested.
or chokers, though, or whatever you want to call them, are just,
Yeah.
I see people wearing these out.
Absolutely.
The lady at one of the dispensaries over the weekend had on a really thick,
Cool.
and it definitely could have been something that came from Fairvilla. It
We're
was-
updating all of our collars. People ask for what they call day collars, so things that they could wear that are more dainty. So we're going to have some of those
Like
things arriving for Christmas.
more narrow, maybe,
Yeah,
and not
narrow,
quite as
very
chunky.
decorative. Yeah.
You know, in like Mad Max and these apocalyptic movies,
Yeah,
or
they
it's the end
always
of the
have
world,
a little person in the gimp mask on the back of the muscle man.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy.
But they're always they always have elaborate leather like cufflinks and necklaces and like all leather like around their entire
that
body.
stuff's expensive. It's no joke.
But I'm looking at it like you got up that like this morning and it's the end of the world. You're in the desert and you bothered to put on all your cufflinks and your leather accessories.
Yes.
Every single day.
Yes. I
Why
worked with
you're
a guy.
doing this?
I worked with a guy who did this. I went to school with a tuba player in band that every morning he would get up and he'd put on 2 leather Viking cuffs, bracers, and then 5 rings on each hand.
Well,
And
It was their jewelry.
yeah, that's
it was
their look.
Their look.
It's their look.
but it's the end of the world.
You don't have
you're
a look.
You're driving a dune buggy with spikes on it.
That's part of the look.
Yeah, but the look for who? It's the end of the world. You're
Just
It's
be
gotta be
fashionable at the end of the
intimidating.
world.
Yeah.
Just because it's
Trying
the
to
end of
find
the world
water.
doesn't mean you have to look like an idiot.
like, aren't you starving and dehydrated?
I am, but I look good doing it.
Right.
Sorry.
And also, a lot of the products that this person from the show would present or put into these rooms or ask about were things that we carry, which is fantastic. So we have like display tables with some of the items on there. Like
awesome.
Womanizer is in the show.
Yes.
Some of the Cal Exotic products are in the show. She loves to show these Enjoy plugs. Enjoy makes metal toys, and they're stainless steel, super high quality. This one's $65.99. So it's just
that's
it's a
a lot.
little anal plug.
That's a lot less expensive than I thought for something. Oh my God.
We have larger pieces. Great for sensory play. Warm them up, cool them down. But they're it's steel, so it's hygienic and lots of fun. But they are they're heavy, but they'll last forever.
Substantial.
I pierced my ear. Got one dangler.
You know, the guy that the Imagineer that has that. There's that one Imagineer in all the Disney documentaries, and he has one gigantic big metal gauge that hangs from his saggy earlobe. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's crazy. That guy, that is.
This is heavy.
Yeah,
is
but,
heavy.
You know, I was looking at that, and I'm just not to brag, but I think I could do that.
It's
Is
small. It's not
Is that
intimidating.
an easy breezy?
Yeah.
Is that like a junior? I
Yeah,
can do
that's
that.
the smallest one that
I can
they.
do that.
We
All day
do
long.
carry
Yeah.
larger
Oh, yeah.
pieces,
Well-
the plugs and other types of metal toys.
I'm challenging you
Yeah.
right now.
What?
You know,
We're doing challenges this week.
Yeah, this is challenge week. I'm challenging you right now.
Crickets for stickets.
Crickets for stickets.
If I did the old Howard Stern,
How large can you go? What diameter can you go?
Anyway,
They call me Road Cone Danny.
After I got home tonight, I would be like, oh, I should have done that. So certain things I'll have regret. I'll be like, oh, yeah. Like, just forget.
It's like, how was your day?
Yeah. I'm playing with my sons.
You
I hope they don't hear this episode.
And you won, so you're having to hide your trophy.
Yeah. They'll never go back and listen to it.
No. My
Too
daughter
many.
did,
It's just baby. And in the future, this will be buried in the internet garbage. Digital garbage.
This is digital garbage.
Digital landfill.
Probably not good to say that in front of a client.
Hey.
No, don't worry, client. This is all digital garbage.
I'm sorry, this is gold. Digital gold, man.
But
It's going to live forever.
It will live forever,
you.
but it'll be in the internet like 10 years from now. Like this will be available on the internet to find, like the YouTube show of this, the podcast.
It'll be lost. Lost forever.
You'll have to be pay for storage at a certain point, right? Like
No.
they can't store the YouTube videos forever. Like 10
I've
trillion
never thought
gigabytes. You know
about
what I'm
that.
saying? Like, are they going to store all YouTube videos forever? At a certain point, they'll be like, we can't store all this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we'll have to delete 3 of them. Every day we delete 5 videos so we can fit 5 more on.
Sounds like my email.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're doing with him. Have you had that problem?
Oh,
we're doing that with
God.
him now.
Oh, yeah.
You
Do
got,
bad.
you got a
I'm real
Gmail
bad.
account?
I have so many email accounts.
Oh, he has a bunch
I keep
too.
filling them up.
I was about to buy the extra space,
Yeah.
but then Daniel told me it was an extra. How much was it? Like,
Well, you have like 16 gigs of just videos and pictures.
it was like we paid $300. It'll be $600
Yeah, it
for
goes
the
up
high.
like-
and,
That's ugly.
doubles
That's
and-
ugly.
and I'm like $300, and I'm like, I'll just come on. I'm responsible enough to go in there and delete it. And then Sam has to show me how to delete the bigger files. Then it's one page at a
man.
time. I'm like, and then I'm like seeing how efficient I could go with like
Yeah,
select
you get
all,
it-
delete, select all, delete. And
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
try to get into a rhythm.
and then I'm like, it's 2022. We have to select all, delete one page at a time.
Yeah.
That's insane. Can I just delete everything?
No. Neither can my medical marijuana doctor either. He has to go through everything, click them every time.
Back to the sex room.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more thing. I could imagine if I had this because I
think you want this, right?
Well,
there's a reason your wife keeps bringing it up. I mean, maybe she thinks you guys need a sex room.
I do have a unique room attached to my bedroom that we use as our office and also our closet. And so it goes like our bathroom, bedroom, and then office and closet, and then it goes out into the back
pool.
patio. But
So you go wash it off.
But that room, so right there, the hot
Close it
tub.
out.
That's what I'm saying.
But in that room, it does lend itself for a chair, which now my wife's rower is at. That she never uses. But the chair.
why do you have to say
I
that?
thought you were supposed to be rowing too. Over
Ah,
he wants to
I
do a
work
different kind of
out.
rowing, you know? He wants to row.
Different kind of
the-
workout.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of shoes I trip over on. But anyway, so this is the problem, though. If we did set up a sex room, right?
Next to the rower?
well,
Can I
imagine
row while
rower-
you guys are having sex?
The problem is then I feel, because I have this problem where I pressure my wife too much.
Well, you put a little note on the chair?
No, just I'd be standing by it at all times.
Yeah,
you know
putting her
what I
arm around
mean?
it, like-
No, just like I'd be like she'd come out of the bathroom, be sitting on the chair.
Don't you want to sit down?
And then I feel like my wife would be like, "Quit pressuring me," like, all the time because
Oh, I got a good move for you. Sex chair in there. She comes out and you're like, I got something to tell you. You might want to sit down. Right?
That's nice.
but didn't know she would be like, "Stop wanting to use the chair
Stop
all the
wanting to
time."
have sex with me.
At all times, because it's like because I.
Hold on a second. I have never had my wife say, stop wanting to have sex with me at all times.
I'm sure she has.
That's impossible to stop.
Well, I'm sure
I can't turn that off.
I'm sure she yelled at you, "Quit, leave me alone."
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying,
That's what I'm saying.
if they're asking us to turn off wanting to have sex with them at all times, that's an impossible ask.
Well, I know.
I can't do that.
But it's the pressure we put on them at all
I
times.
don't put pressure. I try to. I write it in the calendar.
Oh, you schedule it in. Yeah.
Because that's how she is. I got to speak her love language.
I need
So
to figure out how to
once I
manipulate my wife.
no, it's just you got to find what she likes. So Andrea likes to get a heads up. So I'll give her, even though I hate it. I hate giving a heads up. I hate it.
But my wife wants to be. Let's see. That's why it works out. Your wife's logical. She's like, schedule it.
Correct.
My
Now
wife
you
thinks
get
that is unromantic.
I do too. But I got to get it somehow.
Yeah, well, I'd schedule it, but my wife would be like, "This is."
It's either schedule it or
Like,
go blank yourself.
Or
and I'm just tired of that.
She's like, "It has to naturally happen, and it has to like happen
That's
with you
what
being
I think.
romantic."
That's what I want with Andrea. I want Andrea to
what-
like. I want her to like. I don't know. We're standing in the hallway, and I want her to be walking by, and then. Maisie went to dance, and I wanted to just, I don't know, like push me up against the wall, and then we start kissing her, and I push her up against the wall, and then I rip her clothes off. That's what I want. I want like the movies, but that's not real life, man. That stuff doesn't happen.
I like the schedule, 3:30.
That's what I got.
Yeah. Got a hard out.
No,
I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ.
No.
Deborah's here, man. What are you doing?
What's
wrong with you?
At 3:48, it's not,
You want it done?
We're on the business.
3:48, it's Gatorade time.
Anyway, sorry, Deborah.
Is there anything else you brought that you'd like to?
I didn't bring anything else, but apparently I didn't need to.
We hit it all.
Yeah,
We
this
hit
is
it all.
all.
We did.
Oh my God.
We went through the whole 2 segments.
I cannot believe that.
Fairvilla Megastore, there's multiple locations. One on OBT, that's where the Megastore is at.
Yep.
One on the coast. There's one on International Drive. There's one in Secrets Hideaway.
Indeed.
I finally hit up the one on iDrive.
Oh, really?
Yay. Yeah. We just
Hadn't been in there
reworked
before.
that store. It looks amazing.
That's awesome.
And then, of course, Key West.
Yes.
Next time you're down there.
If you're there, pop in. I'm still giving prizes for people. Look, if you prove to me you were there, snap a selfie of you on the doorstep, and I'll send you something.
Thanks, Deborah, for coming in. We appreciate
We
it.
love seeing you. Give everybody there, your staff and your team, some
Will
love
do.
from us. And
We'll see you tomorrow.
welcome back to A Corporate Time. Make sure you check out our Air T&D. You can actually rent a little slice of Sanford, and you can go there and you can party and have a big old time. Just go to book Air TND. That's the letter T, the letter N, the letter D.com.
Yep, it's on Airbnb. You could book it right through there. Also, if you're looking to go Sanfording, this is one
That's
of
where
the
you
most
explore
convenient.
Sanford,
One of the most convenient Airbnbs you could stay in because it's walking distance to all the major bars
It's
and
right
restaurants.
on the main drag.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes walk to West End, and then from West End, 2 minutes to Cellar City, 2 minutes to Hollabox. It's right, it's all there.
In fact, some would
two
say
and two.
if
Up
you
to Tuffy's,
really,
you walk around. I mean, it's right across the street from
Yeah.
Wops Hops.
some would say that if you know the area, that whole back area on the left side of the house is like a little private walkthrough that you get. It's just yours,
Yeah.
and you walk all the way behind the bars, all the way to West End.
I mean, you could stand on the back porch and see Sanford Brewing Company right there. There's all the bars and restaurants right there.
Convenient and easy. Stop by the Jolly Mart and get yourself some frozen pizzas if you want to tuck inside for a bit.
And
it's awesome.
The beds are all adjustable. They have like a massage feature.
Yeah.
They have they're all brand new. The hypergel
Much
pillows.
like any 70s roadside motel, we have vibrating beds. Get your ass in
It's
there.
nice,
It is
man.
nice, man.
That's why I got one
You'll
too.
fall asleep.
Yeah.
You'll forget to go party.
We do a
It's a comfortable little spot. It is.
take a beer, leave a beer system for all the guests.
Well,
so
that went
hopefully-
sideways. There's so much beer in that fridge now, man. You can't even put food
Well,
in there.
someone cleaned it out
Oh,
recently,
good,
and
good,
then
good. Somebody needed to drink those beers. They're going to go bad.
And then I actually
When I
left-
stayed there were 100 White Claws.
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
100.
At the beginning, people were heavy with leave a beer,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
now
recession.
it's a
Recession.
I left a 6-pack of White Claw in there last time we cleaned it. Anyway, so that's airtnd.com.
Emails. You want to do some emails?
Let's do some emails.
We have not been neglecting them. Per your request, we started doing emails.
Now, before we do this,
Sure.
can I?
You can do anything you want. Your show.
I'm going to shoot this theory to you, and real quick because I know you.
Critical
people
race
don't-
theory. I knew you were into this. I knew it. I don't know why you.
They're teaching whites are bad.
I tell you not to
Oh,
bring this
man.
stuff up.
Anyway,
Sorry, you just
so,
said theory, and I always make jokes.
So this is a gambling theory, and I'll make it quick. But the ongoing theory I hear around in the gambling universe is that you heard that like Tom Brady, he took a break from training camp, like a couple weeks, and
I heard that was all Bahamian obligations, wasn't it?
well. There's all these speculation that he's having marital issues, or that's the new thing. Right?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is exactly what I heard. Is that he was almost like she made him go on these like Caribbean vacations to sort of help rectify a problem, right?
That's the speculation.
Yeah.
Now, this is just pure.
Wow.
By the way,
Or, maybe just spend time with your family.
all these sports nerds are just as bad as soap opera people, because
Yeah.
it's like,
Or
or like celebrity
worse.
tabloids.
Yeah.
But they use it for a gambling reason, and this is the theory. Now follow me, and you tell me, because I go back and forth because I can see the logic in it, but I'm like, you're weaving a tale that's too.
EJ has a new theory in the chat room.
EJ,
All
I'll
right,
bet
you want me
EJ
to throw it out there?
I'll bet anything
I
with
saw
EJ.
that article. They said that he refused to do it. So
Oh, okay.
unless it's trying to throw us off the scent.
Yeah, the whole theory of Tom Brady being on the show, The Masked Singer on Fox.
That's stupid. Yeah, that's 100% not true. He's not going on the Masked Singer.
Here, I will
taking
say
time
this.
off.
I will say this. If it is true, I hate him now. And I've supported this man as a Atlanta Falcons fan. I've supported the man who disassembled my entire team. He took us apart. He crushed my dreams of seeing my Falcons they were in the Super Bowl, but they did not win it. But if he did Masked Singer, I hate him now, and I switch 180.
100% didn't. He's not taking time off football to do a stupid reality show. Anyway, so the theory being, okay, for whatever reason he took this time off. Now, I lean towards, well, he's Tom Brady. He's been around the game so much that he could take this preseason time off. He knows what to expect.
They should do
He's
it
done
like-
it for over 20 years, and he realized, I'll take it off now, and then I'll have plenty of time to prepare for the season coming up. Right?
I have an idea that if you're a 5-year veteran in the league, you should be able to opt out. Or even a 3-year veteran. If you've been there enough time to know what goes on and you're on the team and you're on the roster.
Now, the problem is where there's practice and reps and things like that are proven to be beneficial to your game, right? Everybody needs the practice. And you need to go through, and you need the relationship with your receivers. And the only thing that cultivates that is time and reps. And there's nothing that can substitute that. You need to actually throw the ball to your receivers in fast-paced practice to get used to the timing and stuff like that. And that's what these people are talking about with why you need to be there, why it's important that Tom Brady practices during this time before the season starts, right? The narrative being that something's amiss right now and bet against Tampa Bay because of Brady's distraction and
I
him
took him
taking
as my
time off.
quarterback in the guillotine league too.
So no, he's still gonna put up points.
I know.
He's still gonna be fine.
He's
but
consistent. That's why I was picking him.
the argument being that his entire career has been meticulously planning and practicing, and a robot
And this is
football
not
robot.
that?
And this is not that.
Okay.
This is
Some could say the opposite of that.
away from the norm. Therefore, you mix that with his age, 45, which hasn't seemed to bother him yet, right? But everybody's saying with lack of, this practice, throwing him off his routine too. Old men need routines, right?
Yeah.
So
no, there is true. That is 100% true.
He's been
man.
doing this for over 20 years, the same routine. So you take him off that, you give him less time to practice for the season, you give him less reps with his receivers, you one more year older, some marital problems at home. Giselle is yelling at him that he shouldn't have done this year. He should have retired, when he retired. That's the speculation. I don't know if that's happening, but they're speculating that because of
this does look weird for a man that I wanted him I wanted him as a fan of what he's done. I think the complete pack. Look, I'm not a super fan or anything. I like what he's done, right? You look at the guy and I could admire him and be like, wow, well done. If this is the beginning of he was at the peak of the mountain, top of the mountain, and if this is him, because this does seem a bit disorganized and very
Tom Brady.
Yeah, it does seem a little weird.
So
I keep waiting to get the big announcement because remember the initial retirement, and then we all waited with bated breath, and then we heard he was coming to the Bucs. Remember that?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah.
Now
it was like cool.
This is all speculation,
Right.
and he already announced when he's going to be back with the team training, and then he's got some time before the season starts, so he'll be able to get some reps in, and and he obviously had planned the time off when he thought that it would be the best time. Like, screw it, I don't play the preseason games. I can take this time off and still play. Because he is dedicated to what he does, but is this a reason to bet against Tampa? Because that's all. Because so far it hasn't been shown in the lines. Like the lines are pretty the same.
I definitely think it would be. I would say it is because it's different than what we've seen any other time we've seen him. Has he ever done this any other time in his career?
The COVID year. The COVID year, he couldn't remember. He was practicing in the park, and then he got in trouble because I
forgot about that.
Now, but he was dedicated to win, and is he as dedicated now?
Of course not. Everything has changed, and the reason you bet against him is because he already had plans to go to another team, and that didn't work out. So that's reason to bet on him because your focus you used to be laser focused, and now you took your eye off. No, I'm with you.
But is that just a narrative, and does it really matter? That's the problem.
Aren't
like this guy
things
is so
you like in gambling just little narratives that you try to find and exploit. Isn't that the point of doing it?
I stick primarily to math when it comes to, and then by math I mean just the points and like getting the points early. The narrative stuff, although people use it a lot.
I mean, Tampa looks really good.
But that's the thing. It's like, is this enough to bring his play down just enough to mess with the lines?
I think so, yes, because when you get to a certain age, millimeters matter.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, like especially at the beginning of the year.
Look,
right?
I love crapping on your ideas, but I agree. I like this one.
So I'm looking at the first game against Dallas. They play in Dallas, right? And right now Dallas is +1. It's about even, right? And it's ticking lower. They used to be +2, right?
Oh boy, those sports pundits would love a good Brady blowout week 1, wouldn't they? They'd love it.
Dallas just has to win. Like right now.
No, but
for Dallas to win, it's even money.
They would love that to be right and be like, look, see, distracted,
of course. Yeah, it plays into the narrative, but is that enough for you to bet a good amount on that? Like just the narrative alone? Or
what do you think, Sam? You're a Tampa fan. Yeah. You probably got your heart in it.
It's fine. I think he's fine. It's fine. He's just spending some time with his family. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Like you said, he's going to have time to practice beforehand. He's the GOAT for a reason.
It'd be like asking
Tom
to host the show.
You do what you want with your money. I'm not going to tell you how to bet.
It's like to tell Tom to host the show after he gets off a plane. He comes flying in here. It'd be the most. He could, but it'd be.
He does it every time. He runs in here and jumps on the mic.
He could, but Dallas would win.
They call me the Brady of podcasts.
They do. They really do.
I don't know
they do
if
call you
people
the
know
Brady.
that.
I'm the guy that dies.
They call you Tom Shady.
I dye my mustache.
You're a mini Gronk.
No, I don't want to be mini Gronk.
No, I'm sorry. That's who it have to be.
I want to be the guy that dyed his mustache blonde.
Oh, Antonio Brown.
I want to be the Antonio.
All right, you are the Antonio Brown of podcasting.
I want to be D'Antonio. Yeah. I'm D'Antonio.
You have to take off your shirt at the middle of podcast and just walk out.
Just walk out?
And then hype the crowd up.
I'm D'Antonio Brown.
Anyway, sorry. Sorry. I just throwing it out there. I don't know.
I like that.
Because
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Because I'm looking at it and like, this all makes sense to bet against him. Like he's not, but then again, he could be.
Don't
sitting
talk
there,
yourself out of it.
Well,
don't talk. You're overthinking it.
Because narratives, you want to talk yourself into him. You're like, oh yeah,
he's sitting in the beach right now, angry that he's there. He wants to be practicing because that's the type of guy he is.
And his wife's bitching at him.
Yeah, he's married to football. He's got a beer in his hand. He doesn't even drink. He's sitting there. He's like, why am I holding this? Why am I here? Yeah. I could be on the field and doing the reps.
And I've been to the Bahamas. They don't have healthy food.
No, he can't eat healthy.
Oh, he's got a personal chef, dude.
Yeah,
I know. That's I throw in these stupid narratives.
Come on, it's funnier to think he's standing in a line. He's getting the chicken nuggets.
Gray hot dogs. He's eating gray hot dogs.
Like, how do they even boil a hamburger? How does that happen? How does it stay together?
Anyway, it's stupid because
I'm getting sunburned.
I'm going to be watching the game and he's been killing it.
He'll be lighting it up.
Then I'm going to be like, of course.
And then Dak will be crying.
He can do this with no practice. He's been doing it for 30 years. Anyway, all right.
First email.
We're doing emails. Okay.
Yeah, I like 10 minutes of gambling warm up. That's fun. And that one actually,
it's just been something I've been thinking about.
I agree with you.
That's why I threw out that bet on the gambling
page. I thought it was weird. The reason I agree with you, and sorry, Sam, I'll finish with this. It gave me anxiety thinking that he wasn't playing because I'm an anxiety person. I like things orderly. Hearing that he was coming back later, I was like, ooh, that's not like him.
And like again,
no, don't do it.
It only affects the practice though, because he's not playing preseason games. Yeah,
what are you talking about? Practice. We're talking about practice.
Does missing a couple weeks of practice make a difference? it wouldn't but
We're talking about
it's
practice.
the highest level though. It's like it does make
Just
a difference
stop.
because all the other quarterbacks are
Stop.
practicing.
Yeah, let's stop. First email.
Car manual. Daniel, since not having a physical manual for your Performance 3 to read in bed at night, did you just sit in the car and go through the touchscreen manual when you got home? Or did you feel that you knew enough by watching all the online videos? You can't have a manual for a car getting constant updates. Also, my 40-person job gives out paper checks.
I will have you know that in order, and you guys can make fun of me all you want, I requested a paper manual.
Oh God!
I know.
Wow. That's worse than I thought.
That is your daddy's so old joke.
Yo, daddy, so
He requested a paper manual, mother.
No, with his Tesla.
Your daddy's so old his Tesla came with a manual. Yeah, I asked
Because
them
it's
if it came with a manual. They said, "Sir, everything's on the screen inside of it." I said, "Well,
I want paper."
And then no, I'm gonna walk you through the full thing. I said,
That's
"Does it
old
come
man
with a
Tesla.
manual?" The lady, the very lovely lady, the manager at the Eatonville location, said to me, "It does not come with a manual. Everything's in the touchscreen. If you just go to safety at the bottom, and the manuals are constantly updated, and they have videos that go along with them. It's really, really great." And I thought that was awesome. But I said, and she actually offered before I said anything. She said, "But I think I do still have a couple of the paper manuals that have most of the stuff that doesn't update in there, just like the regular facts, the things that don't get the over-the-air update." I said, "Would it be possible if I got one of those?" She offered. I was extremely happy, got a little boner about it.
Did she have to go to the back?
Yeah, she had to go to the back, and it was
shuffle
dusty. Yes,
through-
it was dusty!
Shuffle through. They're like, where? No one's requested this in years. Like,
I
don't
knew
even
this
know-
day would come.
I don't even know where to find that. They're like, we have one here. We never thought. I had a bet with Jeff that no one was ever going to
Oh,
ask
the
for
chat rooms. And now EJ, Dan printed out MapQuest to get to the dealership. Okay, EJ. That's probably the funniest thing you've ever said. Yeah, you guys can make fun of me. Yes, mine did come with a paper manual. To make it even worse, inside of it were... like when they make updates to books. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy. This is dumb old man stuff. There used to be when they updated a book or an encyclopedia, you'd get like an addendum that would come with it, and then you could like stick it in the back of the book. It's like added information that was added later.
Yep.
So I came with a few of those that she gave me, and since then, every update I've gone and printed out what each update did on a piece of paper and folded it in half and stuck it in the back of the manual.
That's a real... I mean...
I don't know.
I
like to be organized.
Now, it's what you're supposed to do.
Well, if I ever
by
sell the
book.
car now has a record. There's a manual in it and then a record of every over-the-air update I've done since I've owned it.
The problem is, though, you'd have to sell it to yourself for anybody to appreciate
matter,
it.
I know.
Because...
No, you're right.
When I bought my first house in Deltona.
You're right. All the stuff that I'm doing, like, honestly, it doesn't matter to a car dealer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to Carvana. None of that matters to anybody except for me. It's really, unless I find another guy
like you,
me, which there isn't. And why would there? Who wants that?
Yeah, Matt Mormon. And
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, he's the guy. If I sold this car to
He's
Matt,
got tons of fans.
Yeah, his 100,000 listeners or viewers.
You're right. There are people like me out there.
Yeah, and so
not many.
But I remember when I bought my house in Deltona, the guy who lived in it prior to me was agoraphobic and never left. And because of that, he literally dedicated his life to making everything in the house and organizing. Like,
it was so nice when you guys bought.
Well,
that house.
he had a stack of every manual, everything he did to the house. Like,
I have that at my house too.
Like
my
a
dad
Daniel.
did that.
Like,
I do that in this.
It's kind of nice though, because then you're like, all right, well, I know the last time this has been maintenance.
well, the maintenance was incredible. Now I did not maintain it. It fell in disrepair immediately. And then also, I never once looked at the stack of stuff in a bin.
Man.
Never even opened. I mean,
that could save you some time when your microwave's acting up and you're like, well, I didn't buy it, so I don't really know what this thing does.
Now, I pumped it in the trash, buy a new microwave. I never utilized it. His entire life's work was wasted by me. In fact, when I sold the house, I did because it was going to the bank. I punted it all in the trash. Because I was like, well, screw I'm selling this for 38 grand. I bought it for 175. I'm putting this stuff in the trash. But anyway, so I just like ruining someone's entire life. And then
We have come to realize that your only joy in life is seeing other people's misery.
Yeah, that's fun to him.
It's the only time he smiles, laughs.
Look at how happy he
Look
is
at
now.
him.
People should try it. I mean, if you haven't tried
That
it.
makes you a villain. You know that, right?
does make you a villain.
No,
You got the pomp for it. too.
Accidental
I'm not-
villain.
I'm not
Accidental villain?
Hold on, I'm not causing it. I'm just laughing at it. There's a difference. If you're Mr. Glass and you cause the train to derail,
So you're lazy, Mr. Glass.
lazy glass. Well, I'm not laughing at people dying or anything like that.
No, you don't think that's funny.
I'm just talking about.
mild misfortune.
Yeah, his mild misfortunes. It's Sam moving.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going back there this weekend.
and then, because it's
Don't talk about it.
When did this happen?
'Cause
no one told me this. I'm so
yeah, that's
sorry.
only for BDMs. But also, it happens to me so much that when I see someone else going through
You're like, there it
the
is.
orb,
Like when I'm
That's why
puking.
people say they're just like you.
Like when my anxiety has me puking in a BDM's yard,
Yeah.
and you're cry laughing at my misfortune.
Yeah, but because it's not real. Like if you actually,
It was real.
If you had
I was
stomach,
suffering in my brain.
but if you had stomach cancer, I'd be like, oh my god,
But you know what?
I'd have
Thinking
empathy.
you have some stomach cancer and having stomach cancer feel exactly the same.
It does, but it's one's funny and one's not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I cannot argue with that. You are correct.
Vomiting because you think you have stomach
Yeah.
cancer, but you're fine. You're completely fine. It's all in your
As
brain.
a BDM nurse rubs your back.
But you're just as scared. Is funny to
Yeah.
So I don't
Maybe
know.
even more scared.
So.
Next email.
All right, betting. So we had one for Dan. Now this one's for Tom.
Tie-in.
So if I do a $159 bet, will Tom give me a straw hat if I lost? Even though I heard Tom hates us $195 BDMs.
Well, he wants to bet me. I'll
That's
bet
what
you.
it seems like.
I threw out
But
that.
you're way beyond straw hat bets. I mean, now, Sam, are you on the gambling page?
No, I am not.
It will literally scare you to death. I mean, this guy's a hundo here, a
Oh, I'm already
hundo
scared.
there, a hundo
I literally
here, a hundo
texted him
there.
yesterday asking if I could actually cash that check for the eating the crickets
You
because
might
I
wanna
wasn't
wait a
sure if it
minute.
could.
You might- yeah, I would
if
ask
the
too.
funds were there.
I would ask too.
What do you
I know why
hold
your
on?
checks are late now because this guy's
$100?
a hundo.
No.
He's riding the lightning.
No.
He's like a drug
We've
addict.
had some weird sponsorship stuff going on.
Yeah.
You've been spending a lot of money on this beach party. I don't know.
I saw him.
I saw him over
$100. I saw him
$100.
yesterday. He said he was going to do something yesterday. He's like, "Oh, go learn a businessman." He was up at Tactical with his hands shaking, up there drinking and betting, smoking and walking around outside Tactical Brewery, smoking a cigarette and talking to his bookie.
I have found that I've been keeping more things from you guys as of lately
Yeah.
because
That's good.
You start asking
Well,
too
I
many
blurt
questions.
things out. I'm a blurter.
Well, not even that.
I'm Paul Blurt.
You start asking too many questions, and I just don't have time for it. All the questions, so I
I
just
don't have
tell
time
you
for your questions.
Yeah, because you're like, why is this wet? Why is this?
He tried to make me. He tried to make me the bad guy. He
like,
said,
why is
I'm
this like this? Why are you doing this?
And did you notice I calmly, against the way Daniel normally, I'd be like, "What the hell?" I'd start yelling at me. "What the hell is this?" I said, "Are you sure it's a good idea to bring the wet tent inside our studio? It might stink it up."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That sounds very similar to something I asked
Oh,
a couple weeks
did
ago.
you say that?
In my situation.
Yeah, you're asked too many questions, so
Yeah,
I'm just like,
so he
I don't
dismissed
tell
me.
these people. It's just, I'll just go about my day, and then I'll be like,
Are they gone? All right, drag it all in here.
yeah. When you're gone,
Jesus.
I'll drag it all in, and then when you walk in, you're like, what the hell is this?
It stinks in here. I was like, I told you it would do that. You
Yeah,
know, yes.
I'm doing the same thing with
That's
my
not
wife,
good.
by the way, too.
What'd you put in her garage?
No, I'm just
His
hiding.
Big Mac truck.
I used to tell her all my decision making, and now I'm not. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep this one to myself.
I do that with Andrea now. Just packages show up.
The what?
The packages just show up.
Oh,
and she's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, where did he get this money from?" And I've been stealing for the company.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
But that's why I always write you and I go, "Hey, take this out of my check."
yeah.
It's come to that now.
I think he's just trying to weasel out, like, if you, even if he loses, you're still going to give him something.
Oh yes, I will. Well,
Like a straw hat guarantee.
it
Right,
depends
right.
on the if you take the Dallas +3 bet that I threw out, which by the way no one.
one
Now
wanted
they're
to
all
take
on
that.
to me. They're like, "You're trying to scam us."
Yeah,
And I'm like,
getting,
"Whoa!"
they're insulted
yeah,
now.
Yeah, they're getting mad.
Gonna have to start a
They're
new group.
insulted.
You have to start a new group.
I do gotta start a new group
because these guys, they are onto your tricks.
Yeah.
It's time to pack up the snake oil and ride to the next
Yeah,
house.
that's what you have to do. Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that with this show. Like, I almost feel like, okay, this is the first time we've mentioned this. The Orlando Weekly I call them the podcast awards. The Orlando Weekly Awards I think they're announced tomorrow.
The 10,000 awards.
Yeah, and I feel like we've won it so much and we didn't mention it. Like we're sick of it at this point.
Well,
now.
we stopped mentioning it years ago.
Yeah, years ago, and then now we're over mentioning it, and the people will be like, "Well, it used to matter to you," and my answer to that would be yes, it did. But now it doesn't. You can change. You're allowed to change your mind on things, and you're allowed as a human to think something was good years ago, 10 years ago when we won it. We needed to win it.
Well,
now it's stupid, and I think it's dumb. But I feel like it's time to board up the snake oil, put it all on the wagon. We ride over to Tampa.
Okay, start a business
Ride
again.
over to Tampa and start it up again.
So much work,
I
though.
know.
Like,
And our tent's wet now.
Like, I need to be forced out of town with people with fire.
Yes, I would need to be tarred and feathered.
Like, I won't leave unless you look out the window and they're waiting for me.
Yeah,
and then
we
we're
need to
gonna get out
become
the back.
pariahs of the city. And they need to chase us out of town.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, all right.
So
Well,
we're
good
like,
job, buddy.
Keep
it up.
And I feel like this. In my mind now, gambling's completely legal. So I'm just openly doing it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself,
That's how I feel like hard drugs.
No one is ever going to care that you're openly gambling, right? With proof.
Well, you always say,
Remember
here's
the old
problem with what you just said. You put right on the end of it. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
You need to stand firm with no one will ever arrest us for running a gambling ring in Orlando.
No, running a ring is different. I'm talking about like a betting.
Oh, I thought we were starting a gambling ring.
No, that's when they'll get you because then there's they'll get you for like tax evasion and stuff and like
pay
money
taxes.
and like
I pay taxes. I pay a lot of taxes.
They always get you for mail fraud. That's a thing they get the mobsters for all the time. It's like mail fraud. It's like he's killed 20 people. Like, mail fraud
Or wiring fraud.
wire fraud. Yeah. And I think that it's a loose law that you can pin on people.
It's also a federal offense.
Exactly. That's how they get you. So I think that's
So they get you to do the time.
Yeah.
I'm not doing time.
Anyway,
I'm not going back to jail again.
I will give him a hat if you give me a good enough bet. This is almost a if
Or a
it's sick-
picture of your wife's top half. Straw hat.
Tom
and Dan, your wife's top half straw hat giveaway.
Top
Top
off
hat.
or top
Yeah,
hats?
it's top half straw hat.
Where do they submit it?
Dan at tomanddan.com.
Hold on, I want to.
I'll share.
Yeah, but you won't share it all.
We'll
Some
put
people,
it,
what if you forget?
CC us on it.
CC me.
CC Tom on it.
Yeah.
And
By the way, I put up
big or little, tiny or small, we lock them all.
I put up a email me for a free plant giveaway deal. And then people are like, "What's your email, Tom?"
I love that. I love those questions.
Over all these years, you'd never heard us say like.
I like when I tell someone, email me your mailing address so I can send out whatever it is, and then they email me their email address.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
I have that happen a lot.
But I've never had anybody mail me their email address. I would like, if you do that, I'll send you a straw
Something
hat.
extra, yeah.
And a picture of my
Get a
wife's
little
top
something
hat.
extra.
But it's just our name at tomanddan.com. It's the easiest thing, I think.
It actually would make more sense if I were
It's also
Dan.
the website.
I should be Dan at tomann.com, and you should be Tom at anddan.com.
Well,
That makes more sense.
Well, that's more complicated.
Well, I don't like the double Dan and the double Tom. I just feel like that's a little confusing.
All right.
Next email.
Radio secrets.
Yes.
Good day, T&D crew. Is the whole caller number 9 thing a sham?
Yes.
Do they actually count how many calls they get, or
No.
does some intern just randomly select a call to be the winner?
Yes. Yeah, all of that stuff's fake.
Yes. Think about who is doing it.
Yeah,
It's
all
me.
of that
It
is
was me
100%
at one
fake.
time.
You know what I just
It was
figured out we
It's a
are?
bunch of me's, and they're getting paid nothing.
Oh my God, you know what we are? We are the Penn and Teller, complete with real sizing, of radio.
I bet
We
there's...
pull the curtain back. And we
There's-
talk about all the garbage that's fake.
Yeah, all the segments that you hear where it's someone either breaking up with the
If it
wife
goes off
live,
the rails, it's fake.
yeah, it's all actors.
It has to be.
Yeah. It's I mean, now back in the day, like of the peak talk radio days, there used to be real callers every once in a while,
Right.
And the problem is this is what's happening. It's funny too.
It's happening with influencers right now.
Yes.
And they're getting into trouble for it, too, because they're faking a lot of stuff.
I'm watching the same thing happen with social media that was the evolution of radio.
Yeah.
Like, it went through where they were like, what should we do for content?
And television, too. Not as
They're doing
much as
boxing.
radio.
Yeah.
But television, remember Cheaters? Is a great example of how television did the same thing.
And so
I love that show, Sam.
There's a new version of it with Tammy Roman, who's the host, and I kind of want to watch it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen the...
So
trailer.
what influencers realize is, especially the ones that got super popular and started turning a business, or turning it into a business and making their living, where they got popular for one particular thing, and then they got pigeonholed into doing that thing because now they have 1 million followers, and people want to see them do the thing. But you can't do it legitimately every time, and you have to put out content. So you start, faking it a little bit, where it's like the first couple times, it's like maybe a little, like at least the other person, like there's a lot of husband and wife prank each other videos on social media.
Like they know a prank's coming.
Exactly. Well, to do it legitimately, it would be a lot more time put into it, and then they realize, well, we'll just fake these, and it doesn't matter. We'll still get the 1 million views or whatever, and that's what it's now all turned into. It's like
even some of them aren't even like pranks. They're just like, I asked my husband this question. Look at his reaction. You can tell it's a fake reaction. It's just like, please stop.
Yeah.
Like it's literally hurting me inside.
Yeah.
Here's what I blame our society for not refusing to accept it.
We don't shame them enough.
No, we just keep on scrolling because
that's why I always say fake or dumb. I always say dumb.
It's nothing. It's a nothing content, and that's what's happening to a lot of content where it's just meaningless and doesn't mean anything. Like, think about where like all content would have people that it meant something to them, or like they'd be intently focused on it, or like watching it, or fan clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the social media stuff, it's just so easy just to keep scrolling and look at it, and you're like, and
it's just like junk food.
It's junk food. It's nothing. There's no calories to it. There's no protein
in it.
There's no
substance to it whatsoever.
Yeah. There's no vitamins in it. There's I know it sounds stupid.
Whatever happened to it's related, unrelated, because this guy was very popular. What happened to the black guy that stood out in front of the church and said, I'm not gay no more? What happened to that guy?
I don't even know who that is.
He was in my dreams last night. I woke up saying that to Andrea. I said, what happened to that guy? Remember that I'm not gay no more, that guy?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, I just imagine that he had his 15 minutes of social media fame, and then he tried.
I want to know what he's doing now.
He tried a bunch of I'm not gay no more in front of Applebee's and different
places.
places.
Then I started saying it all morning. I was walking around the house. I was like, I'm not gay no more. And Andrea's like, we have a child. Could you please stop doing that? And I'm like, okay.
I imagine he, just like every person that like had some viral video and they try to make it happen again and can't. It's the Charlie bit my finger.
Yeah, so good.
And you're just
they updated that.
You keep pushing it out. You're trying to hit again, and you can never. It's like you're not an entertainer. You're not. It's like basically you won a lottery. And it's not going to happen again. It's improbable that you're going to win the lottery the second time.
Yeah. No, I know.
If you're the writer of Hamilton, you probably write another good play. If you just film your kids bite each other's fingers, you know what I'm saying?
You're thinking of?
If you have the talent, you're most likely going to produce something else that's talented.
Now, I will say I do love the follow-ups to these memes and these people that were famous for 15 minutes. Like, I am sort of borderline obsessed with when they go back and, like, Tosh used to do it. Daniel,
the follow-ups.
Yeah, the follow-ups where they go back and they find these people that were, like, only famous for being terrible on the internet, and then they see, well, like, what they're doing now. And I do like that stuff. I'd like to see what happened to him. Like the Gingers Have No Soul kid. Like, he burned that thing hot. Like he had a TV show with his family.
Sometimes BuzzFeed will come out with an article of like, where are they now?
Yeah, I
like,
love
mean
that.
people.
And that guy, that guy, he's always reinventing himself and kind of villainizing himself because he's toxic a little bit. He wants to be famous so bad that he'll do anything. I think this last ditch effort, and this could be real or not real. I'm trying to be sensitive to it, but I think he tried to present himself as a trans person. You know, it's like his last ditch effort of like, come on, you gotta love me, you gotta watch me, please don't leave me.
Yeah.
And then you see these. I'm obsessed with these people doing it, like that Nikocado Avocado kid. That went from 115 pounds to now he weighs like 400 pounds, dude. Like the fact that they're willing to like take everything that they have, their entire identity, and sell it for these
fame,
for these eyes, it's crazy to me.
It's Danny Bonaducci. You'll do whatever it takes to be in the media, or I mean, it's what Howard Stern did. But he did it brilliantly, and also first, where he just learned to manipulate the media and do crazy things, and he realized that the media would give him publicity, right? The king of all media. That's what so he was, I mean, he wasn't the first person to do it, I imagine, but he was the person that did it the best at the time, and where he didn't care, he would do salacious stuff, and people would, and from
they would
that,
just make him laugh.
But from that, it turned into however I can get attention.
Yeah.
And the people that were fueled by that, and there's a lot of social media influencers that are fueled by the attention, will do whatever it takes to themselves or like to their life to get the attention that they want.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes sad. Especially if you're not monetizing it and if it's not healthy and it's just like, oh, well, I'm going to do these insane things to get the attention of the internet.
I mean, I don't know if I can do this, but because I'm so in tune with my own feelings and, I'm an empath, I feel like I can look at people and kind of see if they're miserable or not. Like you're looking past them striving for this amount of fame and you're like, oh, yeah, that person they are not happy. You can almost see it.
I mean, some of them probably are. If you
or maybe
talk
they
to
don't
them,
even know what makes them happy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the show down. Let's get another email. We
right.
got time for it.
Hey, Tom, Dan, and Sam, will keys ever be obsolete?
I mean, they kind of already are in my life.
I think they will be.
I don't carry keys anymore.
They are inconvenient, and things that are inconvenient seem to turn obsolete.
People got the little keypad locks on their doors.
I will say, though, that I trust them more. The keypad on the door, I still don't like that.
Your battery could
My
mess
car,
up.
It doesn't always lock. I'm very realistic
Someone
about.
can hack it and change your code.
I walk away from my car. It's supposed to lock itself. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't, depending on how good the connection is.
I wish everything was keyless because recently, since my wife put in a window unit in our garage to do the laundry because it's so freaking hot, she puts a lock on the garage door so I don't open it up when I come home and let all the cold air that she's accumulated in there out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So every day I get home and I push the thing.
It's a baby gate for the air conditioner.
Yeah, and then I'm like, God, I get mad I curse, and then I get out of my truck.
Why don't you kick the door open?
And then
Radio
garage door.
No, radio hosts are you're supposed to break it. You're supposed to break that thing down and scare her. That's what radio hosts do.
And then I go over to my front door and I have a one iron storm door, and then I got the regular front door. And I fumble through my janitor key.
Is that a fancy way to say you have bars on your doors?
No, well, I don't know. It's
iron door.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
They're
storm.
decorative. They got twists.
Okay.
But it's whatever it's called, the storm door, right? It's
like
I got a storm door.
Sliding. No, it's not a sliding glass door. It's like a
lot of people in Florida have them. It's
the door you shoot through when they're serving
it's the door
warrant.
where DoorDash puts the food right in front of, so when you
Yeah,
open it,
it's
it
the
knocks over
warrant.
your soda.
Exactly.
They call that a Seminole County warrant door.
I'm gonna scream at DoorDash delivery people. Why? You
got to put a sign.
They
Did you
still
see how
do
mad
it.
he
I
got?
know.
Did you see he flipped? It was like a
How?
switch.
Because
They're doing it on
I
purpose.
shouldn't have brought it up.
You
They're
shouldn't have
doing
brought
it on purpose.
He's gonna beat
I
me
think
up.
so too.
Because it's been a long. We've been in the
Well,
pandemic
what kind
more
of trash
for
people?
2.5
I've
years.
never ordered DoorDash. I'm not a trash person.
No, but you're insane.
Cook. You should cook. I've never ordered DoorDash.
Everybody does DoorDash.
I've
Uber
never done
Eats,
it.
Well,
Not me.
well,
I'm not
you're-
everybody.
But you're the crazy
Grubhub's
outlier.
free now if you have
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Everybody who's listened to this.
You know what I do? I cook my meal and I go upstairs and I read my car manual.
That's crazy. I'm telling you, everybody who's listening to this that uses.
I haven't used them one time. They don't have my email address. address,
at
DoorDash.
one point has used DoorDash or Uber Eats.
Some
or
type of delivery.
Never
some
done
food
Uber
delivery.
Eats. Never done Uber Eats. I'm proud of the fact that I don't even have an account. Don't even have the app on my phone.
How'd you go through the entire pandemic, never use that one time? But like, what'd you do
He
during?
had his wife drive to get the food.
No, she's so cheap. She demands on doing that. I've asked her to have pizza. She won't even get a
Even in-
pizza delivered. She's so cheap.
Even in the
Dude.
summer of 2020, that when it was Wuhan.
She was Woo Andrea. She didn't even care. She is so cheap. If they're like, it's a $2 delivery fee, she'll be like, oh, no, I'll be right there. It could be in Titusville. She'll drive there.
What's $1.50 of gas?
You gotta talk to her about it. I've
Well,
done my
that's
fighting.
mental illness.
I vowed with that type of fight. We fought so much over that I vowed to put my sword down. I don't fight that one anymore. I just let her. If you want to go get it, you go get it. Me and Maisie will stay here. It's fine. And we did that in the entire pandemic. One more. Let's do one more.
All right.
I'm enjoying these emails today.
Dumb Lowe's and Home Depot people. Hey, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Just watching today's show on Twitch and wanted to chime in. Tom, I also worked at Home Depot about 20 years ago when there were still capable people to be found. I applied for stock but ended up working in lumber. At some point between now and then, there was a sharp decline in employee quality. It went from real man master tradesman or tradeswoman employee to just okay, still knowledgeable employee with no actual trade experience. Then COVID happened. Now it's just a vast sea of idiots working everywhere. There's a different word.
Yeah.
Working everywhere with next to zero skill or experience, like straight bottom of the barrel dodos. At my last trip to Lowe's, the cashier had to get his phone out to figure out the total for 2 boxes of 12. He actually had 26 ring up at first. Also, I had a McDonald's hamburger that was so greasy it dissolved the bun. It soaked through the box, a pile of napkins, and the bag was dripping when they handed it to me. Awesome. Then they couldn't understand what the issue was. Love the show. Keep up the good work, BDM John. Number one, I'll disagree with you that the just okay, still kind of knowledgeable people were before, like you still had that and then COVID happened. That's not true. Because I've been to Home Depot and Lowe's before COVID hit, and there were still dodos in there that didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
Yeah, I've been in there, never found.
And
the
also,
person.
McDonald's burger. It's going to be greasy.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
You don't know what the issue is.
You're going to
It's
McDonald's for Christ's sake.
But even what he's saying, I think, is there were still like a little bit of a couple tradespeople in there.
Like you could
and
find
then
I don't know.
now it's
I
nothing.
could never get anybody that knew nothing in there.
Well,
I
they would
normally don't
hide.
find anybody.
No.
Like I normally don't even find a person.
And here,
It's impossible.
I don't condone stealing, but here's a reason to steal, and I'm going to put this out there, and I'm fine with it, right? So when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I used to work at Home Depot, when you get chain or when you, I'm trying to think of the other
little washers.
ropes or any sort of electrical wiring, there's huge spools.
They
or
don't
whatever.
do singles anymore, do they? Like Ace. Like Ace will do single washers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They do singles?
Yes. Yeah. They do single washers and stuff. Now, with all that, in the single washers, you're supposed to take a picture of the
thing,
QR
put
code.
it in the bag.
Well, that's the thing. So, they still have the system where if you need chain, they have to come cut it for you and then measure it and then write a receipt and then they give it to you and then you go to the cashier and then now it's all self-checkout
Should
for
be
the most
a
part.
machine that dispenses it, right?
Then you have to go into the self-checkout menu and then put the amount of chain you get or whatever, like all that stuff, like steal it. I'm okay with stealing it. Everybody who's listening to this, just steal whatever chain you need or washers or whatever, because you are now...
How system of a down of you.
Again, this is very villainous of you.
Yeah, you are Gru.
Here is why I say that. Because good luck finding anybody to measure the chain and give it. You will never find no one.
won't.
No one will be around. And if you go and ask the front desk, the customer service, like, hey, can you send someone over to hardware so they can cut some chain for me and measure or whatever? They'll make the announcement. No one will come. And the person who does come, I have no idea what they're doing. And then they'll stand there and then they'll look at it and then they'll look at their Home Depot manual where they go down the chain cutting. You know what I'm saying? They don't do this.
Oh, they won't have a manual. It'll be videos on an iPad.
And if we all just start stealing it, either A, they'll give up and just start giving it for free, because or they'll just be like, screw it, whatever. It's within the profit and loss that we built in. Or they'll actually have someone standing there that is educated and doing
Ready to
this,
go, yeah.
ready to go. and you'll force them to do it. Steal all that stuff,
Now,
and they force Lowe's and Home Depot because they can put a dedicated employee there. They just don't want to because of greed.
Do you think it'll shift? Because I'll give you this one as an example. Now, this is food. This isn't a home improvement store. But during the pandemic, right when normal people were starting to just go back out, you'd still walk in with a mask, sit down with a mask, take your mask off, eat, get up, put your mask on, walk. That whole thing. That's kind of done now.
Oh yeah.
But
also,
when that was going on,
well,
but sitting down and doing that, like the wait staff there, it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
I will say, right when we first started, we're open, baby, still sort of bad. This past couple weeks or last month, I will say that it seems like things are settling back into normalcy, and the restaurant staff that I've had has been top tier. I mean, every restaurant I go to, went to my favorite Mexican place here. I went to hit up La Fiesta. That might have been the best service I've ever had in my life, and it feels like maybe it's a little more solid again. I don't know. Just throwing some positivity out there. It feels like it's shaking out.
There's, I have to talk to my buddy Fernando because he's a GM of multiple
I'd be
restaurants.
interested to know what he thinks.
But he was having a rough time with the good employees and stuff like that. He just couldn't get them.
To her credit, though, this lady was working a bunch of tables, and she was a great waiter and knew she was a great waiter, and she was ripping through them, making bank, She knew exactly what she was doing.
Well, a lot of businesses, they had to up their prices because to pay their employees more, to be able to get quality employees, so there was a lot of that going on. So I imagine the people that are still in business, especially after all of this, they got it down pat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And they were able to retain quality employees and stuff.
Sure.
I mean, it killed a lot of businesses for sure.
Killed a lot of my favorite most little quick serve eateries. Like if you had a little spot that you liked, like it killed the one little Greek spot up here I like to go to get salads and stuff. That's gone. A couple of little smaller things here in Baldwin are gone.
So the back to stealing and the self-checkout.
You got to wrap it up with your stealing.
Okay, well, but when you're asking me to self-checkout, and because you're obviously saving money on you got 4 or 6 self-checkouts.
Oh, when I steal, I go through self-checkout.
That's that
it throws them off the scent.
That's 6 employees that you don't have to pay now, right? So I realize how much money they're saving as a corporation, having the customer just do the work.
You just pay for my washers I'm stealing.
Exactly. Steal it all. All right, bye-bye.